Hi, good evening. Welcome to Business Live. Coming up, Bank of Ghana or banks urge to consolidate Bank of Ghana's effort in fighting cybersecurity threats. We will hear from Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia at the commissioning of the official Industry Command Security Operations Center. Also in this bulletin, more stakeholders in the energy and petroleum sector join calls to immediately stop any attempt to offload shares of GNPC in the Jubilee field to Petros SA. We'll hear from Yusuf Suleiman.
The CSOs, I think they have a basis on their call. Why am I saying that? No, if you look at our upstream, especially championed by our NOC, that is GMPC, they have been in several controversies over the years, and so it's not surprising.
I am Pius Kojo Baka, and those were your latest commodities updates. Let's move straight to our very first story. And Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is asking banks to consolidate the Bank of Ghana's effort in the fight against cybersecurity threats within the financial sector. According to him, local banks should collaborate and ensure resilience and confidence within the sector. Speaking at the commissioning of the Financial Industry Command Security Operations Center, Dr. Bawumia said cybersecurity risk management should be key in the operations of all financial sector players. There is more in this report.
The Financial Industry Command Security Operations Center project was initiated in 2019 by the Bank of Ghana as part of requirements in the Cyber and Information Security Directive issued by the Bank of Ghana to support banking and financial industry players to implement critical information security controls in the directive. The FISOC project is structured in phases and intended to serve as the long-term financial sector cybersecurity emergency response team, working closely with the Cybersecurity Authority. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said the FISOC project is to support financial sector players to build cybersecurity resilience against cyber and information security threats.
My expectation and that of government is that financial institutions will be better equipped to deal with severe and emerging cyber threats targeting the banking industry, including zero-day threats and advanced persistent threats and exploits, and allow them to make informed decisions regarding the response to those threats. I wish to stress that the FISOC platform is neither in competition with nor a replacement for regulated institutions' cybersecurity risk management, but rather complements each financial institution's cyber and information security management framework. Hence, the responsibility for cyber and information security risk management ultimately lies with each regulated financial institution, not the FISOC operators or the Bank of Ghana.
On this part, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, indicated that the central bank will continue to support financial sector players.
As these institutions worked towards the full implementation of the directive, it became evident that the Bank of Ghana had to establish an industry security information and event management system to enable those institutions implementing SIMs and to send logs and alerts, aggregate information and reports. To achieve this, the bank initiated the SIM project, which we call the Financial Industry Command Security Operations Center project. The FISOC project is now completed and operational, with reports stroke alerts in the form of threat intelligence provided to the banks to improve their incident response mechanisms.
The project is being implemented in collaboration with the Bank of Ghana's regulated commercial banks, fintech companies, savings and loans companies, finance houses, rural and community banks, microfinance, forex bureaus, and the Ghana Interbank Payments and Settlement Systems Limited. James Ishen's reports for Joy Business.
More in the financial sector, and commercial banks received the highest number of complaints from customers in the financial sector reports 2022. This was captured in the latest complaints management report released by the Bank of Ghana. Here is more.
Out of the 983 complaints that the Market Conduct Office of the Bank of Ghana received last year, majority of them came from banking customers. But the Bank of Ghana was, however, quick to add that almost 90% of these complaints were resolved. Most of them came from customers who had issues about how their loans were handled by their banks, deductions of these loans, as well as issues about fraud relating to their deposits and other financial transactions. 2 out of the 23 banks in the country didn't have any complaints lodged against them. The 983 complaints represented a 15% jump over what was recorded in 2021. But the central bank believes the increase in the number of complaints can be linked to the general public awareness about these developments and the ability of the regulator to deal with these issues that have been reported on time.
Let's hear next from banking consultant Christian Tichijan, who says the complaints are as a result of improved sensitization from the Bank of Ghana.
I think now the banks have rather provided more adequate channels for some of these complaints and their resolutions. I'm actually aware of a lot of the banks having established their service excellence departments with a core mandate to offer excellent service across their branches and then departments. And then the customer complaints and their timely resolution are also part of their duties. But what I would say is that with the advent of technology and then access to information, people are getting more information on service delivery and of their rights. So what were considered normal, like long queues in the banking halls and then system downtimes at first, is now viewed as an abomination, where the customer feels the bank has got the responsibility, or it is the responsibility of the bank to give them 100% uptime or uninterrupted service. And so, so far as we are concerned, this is not something new. People are rather getting to know their rights, what they have to do, and the fact that Bank of Ghana has provided a channel through which, once there is any issue like this, yes, Bank of Ghana can come in and then they're able to get resolution. So I would say things are being reported more now instead of what was happening actually at first.
Away from the financial sector, let's now touch on energy-related stories, and more stakeholders in the energy and petroleum sector have joined calls for immediately stop any attempt to offload shares of GNPC in the Jubilee field to Petro SA. Now, the Energy Ministry, Matthew Puku-Prempeh, directed the board chairman to stop all discussions related to the deal. 29 CSOs have already kicked against the deal. Now, speaking to Joy Business energy consultant Dr. Yusuf Suleiman has said there is no need to sell Ghana's stake to Petro SA at this time.
The CSOs, I think they have a basis on their call. Why am I saying that? No, if you look at the upstream, our upstream, especially championed by our NOC, that is GNPC, they have been in several controversies over the years. And so it's not surprising that at this moment in time, what the GNPC was set to do or set up to do as its core business, to explore and produce oil, we haven't been able to do that because the distractions are simply too much, from the political actors of the day. If individuals become so powerful beyond the structures of, organizations, this is what happened. And so, Dara, where are we now? GNPC have been in existence, and then the plan was for it to become a standalone operator at this moment in time. Being a standalone operator means that strategically you have to be able to amass your interests in terms of your shares within the fields. So if at this moment in time we are rather dissipating our shares, it means that all this strategically coming from the upstream point of view, we are drifting away from gravitating to become a standalone operator. And rather, if you are in this business of upstream, if you don't become a standalone operator, or if you don't have the majority shares, you are going to be they're going to dictate for you. The best benefit or the maximum benefit or the optimum benefit you can recoup from the industry is when you have maximum share. So I don't think there's any basis whatsoever at this moment in time, to think about diversifying or selling some of our shares. And if you look at the oil market at this moment in time, it's booming. Oil price above 70s. So this is even the time to look at, if you have the shares, try to take advantage, maximize it, and see how you can commercialize it, but not to dissipate it. So with this, the aggregate of all these factors, I think, gives a lot of credence to what, the CSOs are calling. And I think I congratulate them, whoever been the whistleblower, to have brought this out to the public space for us to interrogate it. I think the person has done creditably well.
Now, a member of the ECOWAS Parliament, Emmanuel Bidra, is calling for a common telecom tariff regime for the West Africa sub-region. ECOWAS citizens have often complained about the high roaming charges. Speaking to Joy News' Blessed Suga at the 2023 ordinary meeting of the 5th Parliament of ECOWAS in Abuja, Nigeria, Mr. Bidra also called for an enhanced framework to boost integration in West Africa.
My recent tour, when I was holding my town hall meeting and I spoke about ECOWAS, one of the things that questions that kept coming to me has to do with the free movement of people and goods. You know, my community and my constituency borders with Togo, share border with Togo, and so people are being harassed every now and then. And so the questions kept coming to me: what are you doing at the ECOWAS Parliament about the movement of people, goods, and services? And I have to tell them that yes, ECOWAS Parliament has been in existence for the past 20 years, but we have not yet fully reached the state where we become a full parliament. We don't have the powers of a full parliament because we are not elected into ECOWAS. We are delegates. And so we are moving from a situation where we'll move from being a delegate to become a full elected members of ECOWAS, just as we have in European Parliament or East African Parliament. If you are elected, then you have the full powers of a parliament where you can make a legislation, and that legislation will be binding on the community or the national parliament.
It's affecting business.
Yeah. Indeed, it is affecting business. It has affected a lot of business, and it's still affecting business. I can give a typical example. When Nigeria closed its borders some time ago, goods, that's supposed to be transported from Nigeria through Benin to go to Ghana did not come because the borders were closed. And so if we belong to the same community and we have the same convention, the same ideology, the same understanding, I don't see why our goods and services will not be closed. Another issue has to do with our tariff, our communication tariff. I mean, I bring my MTN to Benin, to Nigeria, Abuja, and MTN has office here. Why can't they have their platform where the charges will be the same, that I have to pay different charges here and pay different charges back at home? And if I send my Nigeria MTN to Ghana now, I have to pay different charges. I mean, we should make it possible for us to trade, or even to share, to transfer money easily within the sub-region. So there are a lot for us to do, and I am praying that we'll move away from this delegation to a full-fledged parliament where laws will be made like the European Parliament.